All right, welcome everyone. Ged, you're back on. How's it going?
What it
How's it
do,
going? How's the
baby?
summer?
It's been a minute, hasn't it? You and I haven't really chatted. Summer's been good. Been busy. Work has been good. Kind of prepping for crazy season. All in all, man, I've no complaints. What about you? You guys were just away.
Yeah, vacation. Went to a little place called Silver Lake in Michigan. It's
Okay.
home to the biggest dunes in, I don't know. They're
The
pretty
area.
big. You saw some pictures.
I did.
Great family fun and adult fun, I would say.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah. But I gotta tell you, I've been distracted all day because have you heard what's going on? You haven't heard what's going on, have you? That
What do
impacts
you
my
mean?
world. Well, as you know, I've typically got Oasis posters behind me. And
The reunion.
they've been flirting with the reunion, it
I
seems like, for 10 years, and it's never been close. They've never talked, and it's always just been fans making it up. But the last month, there's been all these things coming out from sources that are somewhat believable.
I actually heard it today and thought of you.
Yeah, and we were live streaming Liam at Reed's and Leading Festival at the end of his set, because me and Kelsey went to the Dublin show. At the end of the set, everything went dark, and on the TV screen for like literally 3 seconds, it flashed 08/27/2024, 8 a.m. So Tuesday, there will be an announcement, and it's pretty much guaranteed now. The reunion's on, and they'll be doing 10 nights in Wembley, which will break Taylor Swift's record that she just set with 8.
She just did 8, yeah.
That little old rock band that a lot of people like to hate on are gonna, they're gonna blow the world away. So I'm jacked. I'm gonna be a lot poorer next year because I've told my son multiple times, next time there's a big show, buddy, like you're finally coming. Like, he's demonstrated he loves it, and this might be his only shot, right? So
yeah,
I've been buzzing. But you know what I haven't been buzzing about? The Acolyte. Since last we talked, right? My feelings were, and they haven't changed, was I like the premise. I like the way it's set up. We had issues with pacing, direction, acting, but as far as the story, we liked where these things could potentially lead. But as the season went on, those things did not lead where we didn't like where they ended up leading.
It just stumbled into it. Yeah.
It kind of fell on its face at the end. So we were kind of lukewarm whether or not we even wanted a season 2 or not. And we get the news The Acolyte has been officially canceled. So what's your initial thoughts on No More Acolyte?
I'm disappointed. And here's why I'm disappointed. I think that as a viewing society, as people like you and I who love to digest content, we love to pull it apart and look for little things here and there. We are not easy graders when it comes to the review, but for anybody that watches these, please don't get it confused with the fact that we don't like this stuff. And I hope you don't mind that I'm going to kind of speak for both of us on this. I'm disappointed because not every story, not every Star Wars property has to be incredible. Was The Acolyte amazing? No, but it had the best saber choreography we've ever seen. The premise was neat. We seem to live in this world of content now where we look for, people look for reasons to say no to everything. I'm disappointed because I would have loved to have seen where it was gone, even if it continued to be a 6.5, 7 out of 10 show. You and I have said this 100 times. We just want content. It doesn't have to all be amazing. Just continue to try, continue to expand that.
Let me reframe that. Yeah, you want quality, but you're never going to have. I don't know. I don't know if they're chasing the universal appeal that everyone loves, the originals, right? But like you're never going to appeal to everyone in the fan base. So
no,
the way I look at it is like, yeah, it's a bottom 2 show for me, probably from Disney Star Wars. Would I watch it if it came out? Yes. Am I super excited about it? Not really.
Yeah.
But what I would say is there seems to be, again, I don't know if people there's a lot of people who defend the show and say they really liked it, and that's fine by me. If you loved it, you loved it. But I
Absolutely.
guess behind the scenes, number wise, though, did enough people watch it to justify the budget and the money that was spent on it? And
Yeah.
that's obviously the calculation that has to go in behind the scenes.
Yep.
And it's likely it did not hit those
It did
metrics,
not.
right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to
It did
green light
not hit
another
it.
season. Yeah. So there just wasn't enough interest. I really doubt that YouTubers bashing on it or Twitter bashing on it or people talking negatively about it would really have much of an impact of whether or not it would continue. I think it's really got
No,
to
I
go
wouldn't
down
think
to
so.
like actual real engagement and what the viewers thought. And this one was a lot like most Star Wars shows have been pretty divisive, but this one was much so more so. But like if you even look at like a show like Andor,
Yeah.
most people think it was legitimate, but there are people out there who think it's one of the worst. So like it blows my mind that people could think that, but it is what it is. It's just some stuff isn't for everyone, and Acolyte just wasn't for a lot of people.
And that's
Um,
but and that's okay because you just touched on it. Like you don't have to make everybody happy all the time. Sorry, I clearly cannot get this thing on very comfortably. You don't have to make everybody happy all the time when it comes to the content. And I guarantee you that there are some people out there that love Star Wars who are heartbroken right now because it was their favorite Star Wars property. And that's okay.
yeah,
My
so let's
My
start there
concern is
for
that
yeah.
we're just getting to the point where we look for so many reasons to say no because they didn't love some of the pacing or some of the acting. Not us, but like I'm speaking about
Yeah.
Disney in general, that we miss out on potentially cool stories being told.
Yeah, so let's pick at that for a second. There's a couple things here. First off, there's an article on Rolling Stone. It was behind a paywall. I saw a couple snippets of it, but correct me if I'm wrong if anyone's actually read it. But to kind of paraphrase of it, was they kind of more or less said Star Wars fans need to figure out what they want, because it seems like
Mm-hmm.
everyone has this specific vision or thought, and if something gets released that you're not interested in, you're automatically going to trash it. So
Yep.
there's so again, I don't know if I'm getting it right, if that was the article we got, but I kind of get it to a standpoint. It's like, have we got to the part where people are just so sick and so tired of Disney Star Wars is they could put out a potentially legitimate good show, but people will just find ways to nitpick it anyway,
Yep.
right? Like as a Star Wars fan, like what are you looking for? Like what's going to be that unifying thing that people like that gets everyone on board? And I think I think
There's
a
only
lot of
been
social
one of them
media,
in the last
yeah,
15 years, and it was The Mandalorian.
yeah, that first
We have
season,
no idea why.
yeah. So, but that what, that's a good example. That was a show that pretty much everyone across the fan base got on board with,
Loved it.
right?
Yep.
So that should be not that you want to copy and paste what worked and what didn't, but you have a couple examples of what potentially works for the vast majority of the fandom.
Okay,
And
so why do you think, like I know we're talking about The Acolyte, but we're talking about new storytelling.
yeah,
Why do you think The Mandalorian did so well? What was it that universally appealed to everybody?
okay, these comments are directed more at season 1.
Okay, that's fair.
So first off, it was all new characters. Yes, it was set after Return of the Jedi, so technically kind of a newish time frame we haven't seen on screen,
Okay.
but pretty much all brand new characters, right? That
Yep.
first season. They didn't start shoehorning in stuff until we got going on. And you
Yep.
could argue the quality has gone down once they started to try to really interconnect everything. But you had that blank slate, and you had Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, two people who care extremely about Star Wars. Not that other creators don't, but they seem to be maybe on another level as other people.
Hmm.
And it was good storytelling, right? It was a good story first and foremost, and then they decorated it in the Star Wars aesthetic, right? Like it was kind of like a Western, like
Yeah.
they hit all the right beats and notes that kind of the original trilogy hit in a lot of the storytelling. So I think,
And I- and I
yeah,
think I think you might have just hit the nail on the head. Is they need to remove the idea of trying to bring old characters into it. The Mandalorian was an absolute home run because you couldn't make fun of how it didn't, you couldn't nitpick it apart for how it didn't make sense and blinkety blank because there was no references. You said it. It was it was a blank slate. You couldn't, and you could just enjoy the story. And maybe that's where they need to go. They need to create like the Acolyte. If the Acolyte had never even ever considered mentioning, what's his face, Plagueis, and had stayed away from any character we've ever heard of, I bet people would have enjoyed it more. But as soon as you hint that you're going to start tying it into something, everybody, including us, but not always in a bad way, come out of the woodwork. And, okay, well, does this make sense? And well, I don't know about this.
Everyone has their lore checklist, and
everyone's
like, it's got to do this, and that.
Is this canon? Are they going to retcon this? The beauty about Mandalorian is not once did you ever hear the term retcon in season 1.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
it's just a guy going out and collecting bounties, right? It could have been anyone.
He's collecting bounties and came across this adorable little creature that everyone fell in love with.
And even on top of it too, I don't know if this helped play into it all, but he wore his helmet essentially the whole season. Like he could have been anyone under that helmet, right? It took all the political stuff that's going on right out the window right from the get-go because it's it's the faceless warrior, right?
Yep.
It just, that's what gave it that really easy mass appeal for a lot of people to fall in love with.
Yeah. And that's it. There was no retconning conversations, no canon, no ties into
the other thing that's come out
or New Republic. I think that's it. I think
we got little tiny little things, but nothing like lore breaking. Yeah. So saying that, so we know they could figure out what works, right? Andor worked. It's like dark, gritty. It's a play. It fits perfectly before Rogue One and ties in with Rebels.
Andor makes that point.
Yeah. Well, but Andor's doing quite a job of weaving threads, though. But what I will say, what Andor has over everything else is great writing, not just good. Great writing.
They had the movie Rogue One, and this was a story about that guy, but there really, for the most part, were no crazy big names chucked into it. It was just a great story.
Andor is an example of just 10 out of 10 execution.
Yep.
Right? Like, if you're going to put a show where you're going to have multiple characters and other, like, again, it's not like they made a show about Luke Skywalker, right? It's about Cassian, a character people, to be honest, didn't really care about in Rogue One. Yeah. But they turned him into a character people care about, but through great writing, right?
If you had Kenobi, but it wasn't Kenobi, it was a random Jedi that you'd never heard of, and Vader was never part of it. It was just the adventure of going through what Kenobi went through. I bet you that show would have got way better reviews. Yeah, because it was just a Jedi struggling to find his way. It would have been a home run. But
it could have been a no-name Jedi who's being hunted by Inquisitors, when you throw in the Kenobi and the Vader, you got to thread all those things. Yes, Vader's awesome. Yes, Kenobi's awesome.
Of course,
but they needed the Andor writing team to execute that.
I don't think there's any way they could have done it.
They flopped
because I think too many Star Wars fans with too many different opinions on what should happen, and the only way you can break them out of that auto programming is when you introduce a character in a story that has no ties, like they did in Mandalorian, virtually no ties, like they did in Andor. It was just
true. Everyone's going to have their thoughts on what Vader should be doing. What's his mindset? Same with Kenobi. And if you go against someone's headcanon on what they think, they're going to be upset.
Yeah. If they had left Kenobi as a faceless Jedi, and then in season 2 started to dabble in some weave, they could have tested the waters that way. But you introduce a big name and tie it to the universe. Nope. Because you're never going to make 7 billion people happy.
You could have said it was the Quinlan Voss show, and then when he goes to the path, you could see Kenobi's name maybe sketched on the wall, hinting that
Right? Like,
Kenobi would be coming in a future season. Yeah.
yeah.
One of the other big narratives coming around now with The Acolyte canceled is a lot of people seem to think that Disney will not take risks on shows because The Acolyte was a risk and it crashed and burned. And I'll call BS on that a bit because we got Goonie Star Wars about to come out. And mind you, they were obviously in production. They didn't know what The Acolyte was going to be. But
Goonie Star Wars?
I think it's not necessarily that they took a risk and it failed. Yeah, Skeleton Crew. Have you seen the trailer for it yet?
No.
It looks great. You should actually check it out. It's more probably kiddish, but like, well, more not kiddish, family, geared for the whole family.
Is it a show?
It's like literally kids. Yeah.
Right.
Jude Law stars in it. It's like kids chilling, like playing games on their iPad, but like in a Star Wars city, and like they go on an adventure. Like it's to me, that's taken more of a risk than The Acolyte ever did, because The Acolyte is set in a period with the Sith, and like you're tying in with Plagueis and Sidious and all this stuff. Like, I can't. They just gotta choose. Like when those first drafts came in for The Acolyte, like were they not questioned, or like what was the plan? Like, I don't know. It seems like the whole process was a little flawed, or they missed the mark on what they thought the audience was looking for.
I don't know if they were completely sold on it, because if you had paid for the writers of an Andor, or you would put, no disrespect to the actors involved and the actresses involved, but if you just spent some money on some wilder names, The Acolyte had the potential to be, in my opinion, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think they were sure about it.
Yeah, a show in that time frame about the Sith seems like a home run on paper.
Yep.
Seems like a home run. And to turn it into a show about witches and twins, and it just, that didn't go anywhere. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And like, speaking of which, like, they heavily tease that Kimir was like, when they showed him with his helmet off in episode 5 with the big lightsaber battle, they played Kylo Ren's theme, and then Leslie Headland, the creator, was like, "That's good. That's an important note. Like, that's going to come back." There's never any answer as to why it ties into Kylo Ren. Yeah. Mind you, I don't know if that was baked in for next season, but like, I don't know. They missed the mark. Oh, did you also hear it came out today that apparently they tried to get Keanu Reeves to be Master Soul before they settled on the actor who played him?
No.
And now they're actively trying to work with Keanu for another project. Like, he's been casted, like fan casted for Darth or for Revan, like forever.
I remember this. I've seen this.
And like, if they waste, like, can you imagine they wasted Keanu Reeves on Soul, who like dies at the end of the season? Like, my
when
Lord,
you had the opportunity for Revan, yeah.
And like with the Old Republic, like, sure, there's comics and games and stuff like that, but like, I feel like in that time frame, like, do whatever the heck you want. Like, like you're not messing with George Lucas's Star Wars, so like it seems like such a home run for them to do that. I don't know why they're so hesitant. Like, out of all these projects they're doing, right? Like, if you want to throw one out there for the fans, like for the mass appeal, like, throw us an Old Republic show. Like, my Lord, I know I've defended Kathleen Kennedy a lot, but I don't know, man. The selection, the story group overall selection for shows seems like, I don't know how they're messing up Star Wars. Like, it's so easy. It seems like it'd be so easy.
Would you take season 2 of Acolyte over Ahsoka?
Not a chance.
No.
Ahsoka, I greenlight Ahsoka, greenlight the Mando, greenlight all that stuff, but give us the Old Republic would be an easy one. Like, that should be right on the desk, like pushing that through. And the other easy one is they flirted with is give us goddamn Rogue Squadron. Like, how hard is it to give us Rogue Squadron?
a movie about spaceships fighting each other. Like you don't even have to kill it with the story. Like, yeah.
Like, it's Rogue Squadron would be so easy.
Yeah.
Top Gun in space, Top Gun Slade. Like, just you had it, and you fumbled it. Like,
yeah,
I just don't get it. I don't get it. And like, give us, like how we talked about, give us a show about Jedis and Sith and make up a time frame. Throw it 1,000 years in the future, 20,000 years in the past.
Who cares?
Just start brand new.
Start fresh.
But yeah.
Find a cute creature or an adorable droid and give me a story about a Jedi trying to find his way. I'm in.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like A New Hope, for Christ's sakes. Oh, wait. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just copycat like The Force Awakens, but like, go for
every
it. Every
15 years, you could tell the same story, and 5 million of us idiots are going to be so excited about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on over there.
6 seasons. It was the same fucking season 6 times in a row, and everyone watched it. Do it with Star Wars. Every 15 years, you get the same story. I'm in.
Yeah.
Just change the names.
Yeah.
Find me some new planets.
Funnel in that one story with the universal appeal. I don't care if it gets deep, that everyone loves. And then on the side, do your Andors, do your Ahsokas. Like, yeah. It seems like they're fumbling the bag, man. Like, I know they're still making money, but they could be making so much money.
Yeah.
So much money. And like I've like the political stuff's got to get out of the shows. Like, it's escapism. God. Like, I can't hear another person rant about it. Like, just hire writers who are competent. Like, it's like your Star Wars and Disney. People should be lining up with their resumes, begging for a role to write a show, proposing you ideas. Like, do a better job. Like, come on, Lucasfilm. And again, like that falls at Kathleen Kennedy's feet. And like, you got to wonder how much she's into it, because is she focused on walking out that door of retirement? Like,
well, she can't be young.
She's in her 70s. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean,
like, hand the keys over to Dave. Like, it's obvious what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Dave or John, one of those people are going to be taking that big cushy executive job. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Start the transition.
All right.
But yeah.
What else you got? Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, that's it. Skeleton Crew comes out, I think, December sometime. So that's when we'll get next new Star Wars stuff. And again, go check out the trailer. It actually looks good.
I will check it out tonight. Ring of Power also launches the 29th.
Yeah.
Season 2.
I know like the Tolkien stands out there can't stand it, but man, I love it.
Oh, 100%. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed season 1. I'm excited for season 2. Yeah. What else is coming around?
Did you finally catch up with House of the Dragon?
Yes. I did.
Yeah. Were you disappointed with the ending?
I mean, I'm only disappointed because I have to wait. It's funny, of all the things that were going to happen at the end, all I wanted, spoiler, I just wanted to see her get on the goddamn dragon. Of all of the things happening, I was so invested in Lady Rhaena, who couldn't get a dragon. I'm like, I don't care about all the rest of the shit. Just let me see her get on the dragon, and then I'm good. I'll wait the 18 months. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the show. I loved it.
I definitely liked it, but it's like, man, did they waste their time with us basically spending 7 episodes with Damon just stewing in Harrenhal?
Damon was on the Aaron Rodgers trip. He just went and locked himself in a crazy cabin for a while.
Yeah, in the darkness. Yeah, saw some visions that eventually told him that he needs to go back to what he was originally doing.
To tuck it between his legs and apologize.
Yeah,
that witch probably saved his life.
Yeah, I found like after season 1, it had set the stakes for the huge battles that was going to go on, but we literally
Yeah.
got all of season 2 trying to reset the stakes. So they have
Yeah.
said though season 3 will have the big
Oh yeah.
stuff that everyone wants. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah. Has
overall
changed me.
again, well, look at HBO though, and compared to Star Wars, why does HBO, no matter what show they put out, is a banger?
Because they're not
Like,
the ones producing it. They've got all these production houses doing it.
okay,
And I
well,
think that I think
why
that
can they
that's what
always
they
select
do.
the best talent?
Well, that's just it. Like you've got so much content being created that's so good and they're trying to get in HBO.
Yeah,
Star Wars might Disney and Star Wars might need to go open source. They keep everything under such lock and key because they want to protect the integrity of the IP. The IP.
yeah,
Like you remember when they released it and you and I, what was that show Visions? Where they just allowed people to create anime stories. Some
yeah.
unbelievable stories when you just let people create.
I
But
think
they've
you're
got it
onto something
so
there.
under lock and key.
Yeah,
Visions was
they're
so good. They were like these 17-minute episodes, and they allowed these creative houses to do whatever they want. They told these wacky stories, but my God, they just unlock the gates a little bit. Give people creative freedom. Let them bide for the ability to show what they can do and create a story. You want to save Star Wars? Take the locks off the door because you nailed it.
yeah.
You nailed it. I think we just had a moment.
We just
HBO
cracked the
crushes
code.
it
Yeah,
because production houses from all over the world are bringing their best to be part of HBO.
yeah,
If Disney did the same thing with Star Wars and said, you know what? All bets are off. Bring me your best. The stuff
yeah,
that we would see come out of there in 5 years literally is giving me goosebumps.
yeah.
Be
They're in
phenomenal.
house. They're so narrowed focus,
Yep.
and they just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
If you
HBO is just the
yeah,
world's best producers, all just buying to make great content. I've seen
imagine.
some shows in HBO that no one's ever really heard of. And
Yeah,
they're so beautiful. They're brilliant. They're awkward. They're uncomfortable. They tell a story that hits on 7 levels. I mean, it's the best.
yeah. Can you imagine A24 producing a Star Wars movie?
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, that's what this is. I think Disney is incapable in house of producing quality content consistently. They don't have the people in place, the right decision makers on stories. They gotta.
Because it's
I think you're right. You
impossible
gotta
to do
outsource that.
so. The
Yeah,
best storytellers are out there telling stories.
yeah,
Let them tell a Star Wars story, and then
yeah,
you decide if you want to pick it up.
yeah,
Hell, let them produce Star Wars stories and give them a platform to put it, and then let
yeah,
the masses decide what's amazing. I
yeah,
mean, that's a
yeah.
mic
Like
drop
Disney
moment.
can keep
That's
the
it.
main Skywalker story in house,
No,
maybe,
no, no,
right?
no,
Keep
no. All
yeah,
bets are off. Give people a platform. Give the best people in the world a platform
everything
with
on.
no rules.
Yeah,
Everything is fair game. You see 27 times the content, I guarantee you're going to find 4 stories that the world is going to fall in love with. But you can't do that right now because
yeah,
everything's in house with them. Open the gates. Let it go. Let people create. I watched Godzilla -1 last night. Holy shit, is that a good movie? It is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. It was so uncomfortable and so serious. And Godzilla was the backdrop of the Godzilla wasn't even a main part of the movie because people just created
yeah.
something beautiful. Have you seen it?
That the Jaws sequence where he's swimming after the boat,
Have you seen it?
so good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's so good. It's so different than what these captive writers and production people are creating right now in these massive studios because they're trying to be everything to everyone. Let people create. They'll blow your mind.
Yeah, man.
It's my rant.
Amen to amen to that. I think that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you would do to save Disney Star Wars and future stories.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, Tyler is at the cottage,
And
so
we
he's
will see
gotten a
you
little
hopefully.
blippy.